I want to talk about Scal, man.
Let's
What
go.
is he
Let's
talking
go.
about? What is he talking about? Like the scout?
Yeah, he believes that. It was a minute, like what? Let's set the stage. A minute left. The Heat were up by like 50. I mean, the Heat were down by like 50. And then they came back to being down by like, 35 or whatever.
Right.
I'm exaggerating, but they might have been down by like 16 at this point.
It was one of those like respectability runs, right?
Yes.
You go on a run to make the score look a little bit more respectable than it actually was.
My thing was, even before the play, why the hell is Tatum and Brown in the game in the first place at that point?
We ask this every year, man. I feel like every year in the playoffs, there's one team beating another team's head in. And you know what the messed up part is? You get those little respectability runs, and the coaches say, "See, that's why." I'm sure. T. Lue's probably saying that after what happened in their game, where they were beating the Mavs pretty handily most of the night, and then the Mavs make a respectability run, which, at one point it was like, "Wait a second, is this an actual comeback?"
Right.
But it's like that's what the coach. They're all paranoid, man. They lose sleep at night of like, hey, we were up 40, and then I put in, Luke Cornett. Next thing you know, we're down 4. How did it happen? I'll never make that mistake again. But Brian Scalabrine.
It used to be Peyton Pritchard, except now Peyton Pritchard can play, so we can't even make the Peyton Pritchard jokes no more. You know what I mean?
As an aside, let me just say real quick before we get to Scal.
Yeah.
The fact that Joe Mazzulla is not a finalist for Coach of the Year and hasn't even been a name talked about for the entirety of the year staggers me. Look, I get it. There's a lot of Mazzulla jokes. Lord knows I've made most of them. He is an easy target in terms of jokes, but
he is
number 1 record in the league.
Yes.
Number 1 offense in the history of the game.
Yes.
Best net rating. Got his 2 stars to, I won't say take a step back, but like divert some of their attention away from scoring to making everybody else better.
Mm-hmm.
Player development in Hauser, Pritchard, Derek White. Remember Derek White in San Antonio? It staggers me that no one seems to fathom. This dude didn't used to be this good.
Right.
Right. And then Kristaps Porzingis integration as a third banana. Again, on paper, sounds great.
But he was the guy that couldn't fit with Luka. You know what I mean? And he was the guy in Washington that people were like, oh, he's at a way station. We don't know how good he actually is. So I think people default to giving a lot of credit to Brad Stevens as opposed to Mazzulla because we made Mazzulla the butt of the jokes.
You gotta be able to make it work. That's part of the coaching is make it work, and he made it work. And then finally, you kind of alluded to it. Pritchard, Hauser, and Cornett, rotation players for most of the year.
Yep.
Dude, I'm sorry. Like, this isn't the 2017 Warriors he's trotting out there. Tatum and Brown are really good players. The rest of this team is kind of like, all right, like, this ain't the Monstars. And he's made them play that way. So I want to give him a shout out, even though, my man, it makes it really easy for me to do my routine. Having said all that, Brian Scalabrine believes, as you set it up, like they're up 1,000 or whatever. Tatum is still in the game. Brian Scalabrine believes that Eric Spoelstra, one of the 15 greatest coaches who ever lived, a man
probably shorter on the shorter list, to be perfectly honest,
the best coach in the NBA. I think at this point, when in the last 4 years, you've been to the conference finals 3 times and the finals twice with a roster that nobody would stay on the start of the year. Yeah, I'd like that roster.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like those. Like, you think this guy is going to, by the way, and not send like Orlando Robinson or someone expendable.
Duncan Robinson? You say Orlando Robinson.
No, Orlando Johnson, excuse me. I got Duncan Robinson. Orlando, not like Orlando Johnson or like Thomas Bryant.
Right.
Someone expendable.
Right.
You're going to send his starting guy, right? Like one of his main rotation players to go do that. Like that. Come on, Scal. You're better than that. Scal's better. And by the way, I just want to say, because I brought up and people like, well, Scal's such a Boston guy. Like, he played for Boston. He's from Southern California. Don't get the redhead fool you, man. This dude is out here surfing. He not no Boston dude. Come on, Scal.
He don't have the accent. He don't have the accent. He don't have the Boston ornery. He don't have that other thing that Boston does. You know what I mean? Especially this time of year where they start seeing more people that don't look like them. He don't have all that. Like, this is a different ball game there.
That's why Scal's cool, because he's not from Boston.
Exactly. They need more imports, right? They need to import more people like Scal. When I first saw the play, I thought it looked funky, but I thought it looked clumsy. I didn't think it looked like, oh, he's going to push Jason Tatum. Like, that's a really, really dangerous play. And if you're going to really make a play on somebody like that, you're going to do the Raja Bell. You're going to do, hey, Jason Tatum just drove by me, and I'm going to try to put him in a quick clothesline. You know, clothesline from hell, like one of them wrestling moves or something like that. That wasn't the case here. He was pushed a little bit, and at some point, you can't stop yourself, because if you try to stop yourself, you wind up busting your knee out because you're doing something. You know what I mean?
The other part of this is, like,
I just felt like he said, fuck it.
But no, you know I think he was crashing.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, he realized, I have no chance of getting this. And he kind of, like you said, it was clumsy. But like, here's the number one, like, if you want proof positive of whether this was intentional or not in the NBA, and not just this part, but in the NBA, guys who are intentionally doing that stuff, they don't like go, oh shit, and try to help you up afterward.
Right.
They walk at best, they just walk away and do that 1,000-mile stare of like, nothing happened here. I just play basketball. At worst, they'll like stand over you and let you know.
My bad.
No, or not my bad. At worst, they're like, stand over and let you know. I did this to you.
Yeah.
I did this to you, right?
Yeah.
But they don't help you up. Helping, like, the immediate reaction by Caleb Martin's a good dude, a quality human being, sportsman, etc. So I'm not trying to say that, like, yo, even this piece of shit try to help him. No, but the reality is that reaction is not the reaction of goonery, and it's definitely not the reaction of, like, to say, like, not only goonery, but like premeditated goonery, that like they told him, go do this. Not like he did it because he was frustrated or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, man. Like, sometimes, man, people just have bad plays.
It happens. Like, this is the downside. I won't say down. Put it like this to me. Dennis Rodman was like the master at knocking you over.
Right.
And then like helping you up and patting you on the butt. Like, Dennis was the master of, I didn't really just do that.
Did it with a smile on his face that lets you know, oh, you know what I'm doing. I'm doing the what was my man's name from Leave It to Beaver? Eddie Haskell. I'm doing the Eddie Haskell. Who, me? I'm just doing it. Like that. Rodman was doing that. He wasn't actually trying to be helpful.
Right.
And I think we could tell. It's like when Joel Embiid gets like flops and then like has a big smile on his face as he gets the call. Like, oh my God, I actually got away with it. Like, come on, guys. We know what he's doing here. He's not actually just like, oh, I'm glad I'm okay. He's doing the thing.